important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
And you get a chance to be able to change your genetic carbon-based structure to a crystalline-based structure, philosopher, if you're good. And if you can't remember these children called indigo children, well, they have the possibilities and the abilities too. I do see there's a reason being why, I don't want to say corruption or whatever it is, but there is a system here that actually doesn't want to keep us down. It wants to make this game very interesting. Remember, it is a game. If not, we're sort of living on a weird planet. Mercury, lead, and tin in your mouth, aluminum in your salt, certain types of heavy metals and things that you find in certain foods. Okay, so let's look at the big picture. The big picture is the house is changing. I'm going to change this to 2 seconds. The house is changing. We're going to change our body. Once we change our body, it's very simple. Now, genetically, every 2 years, every cell in our body becomes brand new. And the only reason it won't change is because its energetic grid won't holograph itself to a newer tune. It's usually losing its energy bracket. And so the foods that we're going to start eating, the salt that we're going to start ingesting, because we are 18 gallons of salt water, not fresh water. Okay? We are salt water. Every time you drink fresh water, you decrease or dilute your power. So you're going to be smart. Look at C. Remember what a lot of people around the planet, remember you were saying, Westerners is the problem. We do live in this Western society, which is a total different system than, of course, than the Eastern. So we're just looking at different ideas. These ideas came from Germany about the soleil salt with a lot of very high-level, very neat clinical research. Rehydrating the body to be able to turn it more into a crystal, drinking more water, dilutes your body from carbon-based structure, and as you change your body changes. Every time the moon comes, your body becomes either faster, quicker, and smarter, or it becomes slower, simpler, and we won't say stupider, but it does get very, very upside down. We're going to cheat a little bit. This is just a magnet because it's going to sort of show you that there is magnetism to everything. Okay? Now, we are a magnet, and if we want to be magnetic, then how do we become more magnetic? We actually tune ourselves up. Everybody here will go ahead and give everybody a citrine-colored crystal. Do yourself this experiment. And the experiment you'll do is actually wear this thing all the time. A citrine amethyst crystal is what I call it. It first starts out as purple, like this one. You then send it to the fire, 600 degrees for a few hours. It transmutates to gold. Okay? You want to transmutate this carbon-based machine to crystalline base, then help it out. Wear the crystal of choice. And it's not just the transmutational energy, because that just transmutates the heart energy. Let's transmutate this machine. So let's help it out. We're going to do 2 things. You're going to wear this crystal over your 3rd rib down, where the body's electrical pulse is strongest. So you're going to amplify what crystals do. And since this is a transmutational crystal, remember it came from purple, the highest of the tunes of all crystals, and we fired it, and there isn't a gold of the tunes, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, and you get the last 2 colors by overlapping red and blue. Okay, so there isn't a gold in this color system. So this is transmutational. And you know the gold is, of course, conductivity. You see the pictures of the saints and different people. You see this gold connection. NASA uses on all their fittings gold receptors because they're the best conductivity of not losing resistance. So what we do is do 2 things. We wear a crystal because your heart, of course, is not just pumping your blood. It pumps blood through 75,000 miles of hose. It's impossible. Your arms and your legs pull your blood through, and your heart is an electrical signal. So in order to be able to actually activate this machine, let's help it along. Let's not give it sedatives with low-level, simple foods. Let's only go ahead and eat the foods of a rainbow warrior. Okay? Green, blue, indigo, and violet tunes, not just colors, but tunes. Goji berries are not red. It's purple, it's reddish. It's a combination of tunes. Remember, we're becoming color. So, we're going to cheat. We're going to all wear an amethyst crystal. I'll show you how to make it. Number two, what you're going to do, you can see what it's done to me. It's really made me super lean. It's made my physical body very hard, lean, and totally changed me. I lost 35 pounds of baggage. But what I'm going to show you is you're going to start wearing this. It's not a magnet, okay? This is meteorite. You're going to get it yourself for free. Why wouldn't you want to wear the signature of the planet? When the planet changes, I change with it because I'm wearing thousands of little, tiny little meteorites, which are, here's this meteorite. It comes in at 60,000 miles an hour. It starts hitting our atmosphere, which starts, you call it a shooting star. Little pieces fall off, falls into the ocean. Magnetic, of course, is everything, and these are now totally magnetized with the signature of the planet. Whatever the planet changed, remember, magnets are for fools, as I call them, because I played around with magnets and thought they were cool. These are linear type of man-made things that don't change dynamically to the movement of the planets and of the bigger picture. So what you do is you take your magnet, the little particles, remember, fell into the ocean. The particles then got magnetized and pulled to the earth, and by motion. So you take your magnet into the dry, white sand, and you've got them all over the beaches here, and in 5 minutes you've got yourself probably about this much meteorite dust from the sand you just pulled up, because everything there will not rust. Oh, it's iron. Sure it is. But it doesn't rust, because you can take a nail with that salt water and it will rust in a few days. So this is, remember, signature. So then what I do is I put this in a very soft, magnetic or conductive material, and this is a piece of deer hide. I put some of this Soleil salt we're going to put in, because as soon as you touch this stone, this ether stone or this meteorite with a little salt, the DC voltmeter jumps off the map. Okay? Now, so what I'm doing, you talk about eating light, let's go ahead and eat DC current, because that's who we are. So we can kickstart ourselves up, battery charge our cells to be able to actually accept more energy. Then we can start accepting more photonic light. Because until we kickstart these cells back up to a higher structural form, they will not be able to run high fuel in your Volkswagen when you burn it up. Okay? So, a lot of the foods that we're eating right now, a lot of the things are cool. Superfoods are higher vibrational, but unless your body can accept it, you're just wasting your money. Okay, so what we're doing here is taking this salt, which is stone ground. It's this. We can take this cube. Remember, I didn't form this. I didn't cut it. This is the way it forms. So you can take this cube, you can melt it down with some water, and then take the water out, and it turns back into a cube. Wait a minute. How does that magic happen? Magi's? Okay? How does it turn back into a cube? So if that's smart, then you go ahead and say, I wonder if each little piece is a small cube, and they are. They're all tiny little cubes. Remember, and everything does fit in the cube. All the platonic solids fit in the cube, and this brain here, of course, is very reactive to the platonic solids. The dodecahedron, the star tetrahedron, the cube, the circle, and the hexagram. Star tetrahedron, the cube, So the idea is that now what you're doing is you now are becoming conductive, and you're going to start drinking the material to make it so everything's going to work. So you can start drinking this really high conductive salt, but if you don't have the magnetism to draw your cells to start actually conducting energy, then a lot of the stuff you're trying to do is very slow and tedious. Instead of actually, for me, I like to, everything you see at the ranch here is an experiment. How do I get trees to grow 50 times their rates without any parasites? Where's the bugs in this room? Remember, there's energy. If you train, modify your body, parasites leave this thing without killing anything. And that's one of the biggest things we're going to learn here. We're going to train, modify our machines, and we're not going to kill nothing inside us, because everything that lives inside you is your child. It's born inside you, it's yours. Okay? So, I'm a self-made parasitologist. I was a doctor of chiropractic for about 15 years, saw close to about 200,000 patient visits. And you start playing in the health field and start finding out the truths, you know, these things called lies, the secrets and sort of deceptions of money and all of these different pieces. So I'm always trying to share people the simplest, easiest, economical, and efficient ways to train yourself to become more energetic. So simple thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 300 million year old salt. Remember, a lot of this salt is not stone ground. You can say this one says stone ground, because if you take salt, and this salt is really hard, you can throw it against the wall, and it'll actually not break, and it'll put a huge dent in the wall. This is a crystal. It's very hard. Okay? It's not regular salt. Remember, regular man-made salt is poison. Yes, it is. The MD who really doesn't know too much, or a lot of the different doctors, I'm not bagging on anybody, but they really do. They do know that about that. Man-made salt is poison to you. Makes your body like a pillar of salt. Then we go up to this stuff called rock salt, poison. Has no structure. Then you go up to sea salt. Waste of time, too. Let's go right to the best of the best. Let's go to compressed salt in the Himalaya, a 300 million year old closed mine, and it's cubed salt. So we then go ahead and have the second problem. We now grind it up and make this salt into a coarse ground, stone ground. Because if you grind this with metal, you'll get stainless steel in your salt, and that's not good. Stainless steel goes to all the glands and causes a lot of retardation of many of the glands. So what we're going to do is, what you do is you do the simplest solution you could ever imagine. You put half of your salt to the jar, half jar. Now, this salt is going to turn to water, and the water is going to turn to salt. And this is why they call this Soleil. This salt, remember, if you just take a DC voltmeter and just stick it on it, you get a little bit wet. It does have energy to it. So what we're doing now is we're trying to get maximum energy to the salt, and the salt will not make any more than a 26% solution. So here we go. We're filling now the jar. You don't do this in plastic. Don't even use any more plastic if you can. Well, that's another hour type of seminar or a workshop on plasticizers and plastic. And you can see plastic spoon. We really don't want to use that. So because this thing is so sharp, the plastic will go ahead and actually get cut, and you'll get small amounts of plastic in your food. So what we'll do is just give this a shake. And this, in about 4 hours, will completely transmute itself, just like the crystal you're going to get. The water will turn to salt, and the salt will turn into water, and this is very special stuff. Now, this has a maximum capacity to turn to salt, 26%. So 26% salt is the maximum amount of this solution you can get. So what happens is you'll have salt left on the bottom. So when you know that this water and salt transmutation is taking place, it's usually 1 day. That's it.